Hey, Matt Golson here with Barn Door Cycling. So this morning I'm heading to the Dirty Benton 50K gravel bike slash off-road dirt crit, I believe. So pretty psyched about it, and thought I'd take a few minutes and just talk a little bit about the history of the Dirty South rides, because it started off as just kind of a joke almost, and now we do have a pretty awesome, successful bike race thanks to some hard-working folks. So I want to say the first one was 2011 or 2012. Now I can't remember riding. I'd seen the Dirty Kanza, whatever, 200, and I was sort of seeing that gravel racing was kind of a underground thing, and I thought that was interesting because I've always kind of been interested in unsanctioned, non-sanctioned events, races, where it's kind of fun and not really like serious competition, and where you have to pay money, to do the race event, whatever. So but anyway, I was kind of interested in this gravel riding. I'd rode my road bike on gravel quite a few times with just regular road bike tires on accident, and it didn't seem like it was that big of a deal. It wasn't fun, but I had built up a touring bike. I was thinking about doing some touring, and I thought, I could put some pretty big tires on it, and it would probably make a pretty decent gravel bike. So I put on the forum that I was going to do a gravel ride. I think this was in February. Just for training, I was going to do 100 miles and asked if anybody's interested. And I was surprised there's quite a few people who said that they were in if I could maybe cut it down to 100K. 100 miles in February, they just didn't like the sound of that. And I said, yeah, that's cool. 100 miles is stupid anyway. We'll do a 60-mile ride. And so I'm kind of surprised by the interest, and I say, man, we should make this into a big event. And then the name Dirty South comes to me. So because Southern Illinois, we're pretty proud of the fact that we're in the South, and it's got that whole pop culture rap connotation. So I kind of made this poster up, Dirty South. It's like a race. It's not a race. It's, you can ride fast if you want. And I put a GPX file online and designed this route that was pretty tough, pretty challenging, lots of gravel, lots of big hills. Honestly, it was probably too hard for me, and we had quite a few people show up. I was surprised by the number of people. I want to say we had over 20, maybe 28, a little bit less than 30. I can't remember how many people finished the ride, but it was way, way less than that. I want to say maybe 12. I don't know how many people actually finished, but not that many people actually finished, and a lot of people were looking for shortcuts. I was looking for shortcuts. At one point I was saying, hey, we could cut back here, and I'm pretty sure it was Lee Messersmith who said, you don't want to shortcut this ride. Considering I was the only one who really knew the route, I put a GPX file online, I think, but that stuff is, who knows if that works. So I needed to be on the ride. I was having cramps at the end. I have cramps at the end of all these things. It was killer hard. And they start to kind of blur together, so I can't remember exactly what the route was on the first one, but I do know that I finished successfully in a lot of pain. And so the next year, Mo decides, our illustrious SMBA president decides to hold a ride on the east side, or on the west side of Southern Illinois. There's quite a few more riders. You're likely to bring in more riders on that side just because it's closer to, there's riders in more riders in the area. He had some awesome gravel roads. LaRue Pine Hills was amazing. Me and Luke went to that ride when Luke was in crazy good shape and I was in okay shape, and just had the time of my life. I remember it was I rode my guts out on a couple of sections. I can't remember if that's the one where we got lost and did 80 miles. I think it is. Me and Luke, Chad Briggs, Todd, some McKee maybe. I can't remember. But anyway, I think that's the ride where we were kind of like a little too jumpy. We skipped one of the brake stops and thought we could follow the route, and we ended up riding 80 miles on our own. These rides are always kind of like, I mean, what's awesome about it is there's almost always something, you know, almost always something happens. And they're always good fun. So, yeah, so we had a few different rides. We had some in the south that Jim put on, and then Lee and Sean Hargis started putting some rides up in the north and the Benton area, and so it kind of became a series. And then Mo took the step last year to make the Dirty South a real race. There's an entry fee, and there's beer if you're into that kind of thing. There's pretty serious riders that show up and just make it an awesome event. We had, I want to say, I can't remember how many there was there last year. I'm pretty sure it was over 100 riders on the first ever event. We had an awesome t-shirt I designed, but it was still an awesome t-shirt. I didn't mess it up too bad. There was a big pint glass that you got if you finished the ride. There was great photography there from a few different people. My wife helped me with some photography. I didn't do the ride. Last year, I was not feeling too particularly strong on the bike, and I didn't feel like I should probably even attempt that ride. So I just did photography. This year, I think, unless something changes, I'm going to try to get my butt in shape and do the ride this year. So looking forward to today, and hope everything goes well. Check you later. Hey Ryan, you excited about today's ride?
Oh, I'm pumped.
Yes.
Pumped to the nines. Do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go over here and get Hargis. Sean, you pumped for the ride?
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah? Okay.
First road ride in probably 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
This is Zwift before.
Are you going to remember how to do it?
Yeah.
These change gears.
Yeah.
Brakes. Yeah.
When they work, right?
When they work, yes. It might be too cold for gear changes. Off. GoPro knockoff. I should have had it on when he was doing the promotional stuff a minute ago. Oh. I'm going to see if he'll wants to film a promotional video.
Okay. I had 4 guys back out yesterday. Yeah, that happens. That happens. And the sailing through was like, yeah. Is it going to be refrigerated?
It's cold.
Oh, is it?
Be alright. It's posted.
Okay.
This is where the true fun will be had.
We'll see.
Massive. It was funny. I was going down the road and there was a semi truck with like tires at, you know, wide load, you know,
yeah,
stacked too high and they barely go under the underpass. And I was like, hey, there's the next year's fat bikes tires.
I've got some pictures of some that they've cast and built that are just
Right. I think I'm going to put this back. Get some footage of the fat bike here. Dun, dun, he's pulling in the wind. I need to zip this down if I can.